So this video might contain some graphic pictures. If you're not strong enough, please don't click.
Hi guys, welcome to today's video. Thank you so much for coming. Today is that one video that I've been wanting to do so that I share my journey of 2024. I must say that 2024 has been one of the most difficult years from the time I was born, according to me. Okay, let's say from the time I became independent. There is nothing that has pained me more than this year. It has been so difficult. But for those who know me, you realize that most of you were not even aware what was going on with me. This is the time I realized I kept so much away from my friends and from family. Not really keeping everything away, but they knew something, but not everything that they deserved to know. When I look at all the events that have happened in my life, this year has been the most. So let's go straight away to the video. The year started so nicely to begin with. The year started so nicely. Everything seemed good. I had just gotten this new job towards the end of last year. And so I was relocating to this place for this year so that I can strategize better and do the implementation of my activities better. And before I go on with this activity, I want to thank everybody, all my colleagues, manager at Quam. I want to thank you all for being so supportive. All my friends who knew about this, I really want to thank you so much. Like without you, like I have never seen such an organization that understands so humanly. I really appreciate you. So yeah, like I said, the year started well, and then in March, the first nice event before we go to Broad was the 1st of March, the birthday of Travin, my son, my little boy. He made 4 years in March. Oh my God, it was so interesting. We celebrated. We were so happy. I normally don't celebrate my birthday. Like I have never celebrated my own birthday. But for my kids, I have never missed it. And in fact, when we started this year, we agreed that we were going to celebrate everyone's birthday in the house. So it meant that this year I should have celebrated my birthday. So we had that birthday. It was nice. Son was so happy, you know, like his brother gifted him. It was really good. So moving forward, within March, within the month of March, I decided to shift from where I used to stay because apparently it was a single room and it was no longer comfortable for me and the kids. So we moved into a house with 1 bedroom, at least with a bedroom. So 22nd of March, we are shifting. We move off some of our things. Like the distance is not even 100 meters away from the previous home. So the kids come home. In the morning, they first disappear all day because of the new environment. They have met new friends. These boys disappeared for all day. Like from 7 and came back home at 4. So I was busy organizing the house actually. So when they came back, I was really so bitter. They went to my neighbor's shop. I was very bitter with them. I wasn't happy. I should have caned them, but I did not. I just talked to them. I told them, you know what? Don't disappear like that. You make mommy worry. So they seem to have understood. And then I also told them, kindly, do not go anywhere again. As if God was talking to me. As if God was talking to me. I had bought some sweets. My first son, Travers, loves sharing a lot. He loves sharing so much. So I gave them these sweets. It was actually chewing gum. I gave them this chewing gum and then I told them, you know what? Kindly don't leave home again. You get? So he was like, Mommy, no, it's okay. We're just going to play in front of the house. They left. In the next few minutes, that is 23rd already. It was a Saturday, 23rd March. In the next few minutes, I hear my son screaming, "Oi, mommy, I am dying. Mommy, I am dying. Mommy, please save me. Mommy, I am dying." I heard his voice from a distance. I ran to the gate. What did I see? My son was burnt. My son was burnt. I got so confused. Just now we spent 20 minutes at home in confusion. I was asking him, what happened? Why did you do this? I told you not to go anywhere. I told you to stay at home. Why did you leave home? You know, I was so confused. I didn't act immediately. He kept saying, "Mommy, please save me, I'm dying." You know how fire burns? It burns the way, it burns your body the way it burns in real life. "Mommy, please save me. Mommy, please save me." So I put him on my back. He was 7 years by that time. We go to the nearest pharmacy. The pharmacist told us he will need to be put on IV, on fluids, so he will not be available in the night. He asked us to go to the health center for. So we went to the health center. I am still carrying my son on my back. He's screaming. Everybody's looking at us. I am confused. I was actually complaining. "Why did you go? Why did you go? Why did you?" I kept saying, "Why did you go? Why did you go?" And he kept saying, "Mommy, please save me. I am dying." Yeah, so we went to the health center, and nurse there she was the only one on duty. And I just went the way I was. I was actually putting on a short dress. I just wrapped the lasso because I was putting on a short dress because I was at home busy working. And so when the incidents happened, I just wrapped a lasso around my waist, and then we went. So when we reached the health center, our beds don't have bed sheets at the government health centers, hospitals, let me say. So I was supposed to put a sheet on the bed so that he lies on it. And I did not have it. So the nurse, they told me to put the lasso I was wearing on the bed. I told her I am putting on a short dress. Do you know what she said? "Who told you to put on a short dress?" I'm like, "Hey, I was actually at home doing housework when these incidents happened." So I had his sweater. So I just laid his sweater and then I told him to lie on it. As I moved to go and buy commodities, like our hospitals rarely have drugs. So I moved back. I left him in the hospital all screaming. Everybody gathered. And you know, when I came back home, I didn't even have money. I just had 1,000 Ugandan shillings in my house. I came home confidently, I am going to buy drugs. Meanwhile, the parents of the boy who burnt the child, are still in confusion. Actually, his friend burnt him. I forgot to tell you that bit. Before we went to the hospital, I asked him, "What really happened?" He was like, his friend lit a matchbox and threw it at him. But the boy was wet. His body was wet and smelling paraffin. And then I asked him, "Are you sure your friend did not pour paraffin on your body before lighting on fire?" He said no. So we'll come back to that later. So I came back home. Like I told you, I didn't have money. I came back home confidently going to buy drugs. I picked my 1,000 shillings. I don't know how much that is in your different currencies. Picked my money, went to buy airtime. Some of you call it recharge card, like went to recharge. I bought airtime and called my mother. I told her, "Mommy, you know what? Travers is banned and I don't have any money." She was actually the first person I called. I told her I don't have any money, and she did not have money either. She asked me, "How much money do you need?" I told her, "Just send me what you can send." I didn't want to specify, and I didn't even know how much the drugs would cost. Meanwhile, I have left my boy in the hospital, crying, screaming. People are gathered trying to comfort him, you know. So my mom told me she was going to send the money, but the place where she's supposed to send mobile money from is far away from home. It's around 7 kilometers away, and I could not wait. So I go to this guy. Guys, being a single parent is tough. So I go to this guy, and he does mobile money business. I tell him, "You know what? I need some 20,000 shillings. I used to do transactions at this shop actually. I told him, "I am going to leave you with my national ID. Keep it In the next few minutes, my mom will send money, then I'll come back and pay you. Guess what? The guy didn't even refuse. He gave me 20,000. I went to the pharmacy, bought what was needed to attend to my child at a government hospital. So when I reached the health center, I got, of course, people had gathered. He was screaming. And nothing had been done to him because I was yet to go with those drugs. So when I reached the hospital, they attended to him. That is still 23rd. They now attended to him using some of the commodities I bought. They put him on fluids. But the pain was still there. They injected him and then he slept a little. And then
It was me smiling through pain. Oh my God.
I was just there in the hospital. So my little boy, I was just staying with them. Like I didn't have help. I didn't have somebody whom we were staying with at home. So I left the little boy at home in confusion. Like, actually, when we left home, he was not there. When we left home, the little boy was not around. So we stayed in hospital through 23rd, the whole of that 23rd. The incidents happened in the evening hours of 23rd of March 2024. So Saturday, 23rd, we're in hospital. 25th, we're in hospital. And then on Monday, my colleagues came from the main office. Like my friend Barbara. Barbara, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the support you really gave me. Because at that time I was confused. I didn't even know what to do. So my friend Barbara comes and she sees the child and she tells me, you know what? This child needs better medical attention. Move him to Abe Hospital. Abe Hospital is bigger than this. Was a health center for. So on Sunday, first of all, guys, Sunday they tried to take off the skin from the bun, but actually on Sunday they did not do anything. They didn't do anything. And in most of our hospitals, Sundays are so tricky. So they came on Monday morning. She sees the child. She tells me, you know what? Prepare and let's go. Your little boy can stay with me. Like my little boy could stay with her at her home. So we left. I informed the office. They were so sorry. We left. And fortunately for me, the main office is at that hospital. So we went there.
During debridement, he cried.
They had to take off the black skin, all of it. Actually, the moment we reached hospital, we were admitted at the emergency. He was in a bad shape. He was in a bad shape. To be honest with you, I would have lost my son. So they admitted us at the emergency. They had to take off that skin. They had to take off that black skin, all of it, scrub it off. So they put this boy on anesthesia, but trust me, he did not respond. They did it like 2 to 3 times. And of course, you know, when it reaches a certain point where they can no longer do it. My son was screaming, guys, screaming as they were doing that. As they were scrubbing it off. He was screaming at the top of his voice. That is now 25th, Monday. I told my friend, you know what, I can't stand this. Let me go away to another room. So my friend, Peace, oh my God, Peace, how can I forget Peace? Peace and Barbara, you guys, thank you so much. So Peace and Barbara attended to Travis in that room. I moved away, but I could still hear him screaming his heart out. Have you ever cried to an extent? Have you ever screamed to an extent where you can no longer scream? That was it. So the procedure took around 3 hours. Actually, he started responding to that. He started responding to the medicine, to anesthesia after, when they started putting bandages on him. That's when he started responding. But he was crying a little. So we stayed in the emergency. We stayed in the emergency room for a couple of 5 days, I think. And the staff at Abe did a great job. We stayed at the emergency. My son was put on oxygen. His saturation was so low. It was at 84. It was at 84, around there, constantly. His breathing was not okay. My bosses were so supportive. They kept on coming to the hospital to support. Even when there were challenges of oxygen, my friend Barbara still spearheaded, and oxygen was brought from another facility. Guys, if you're not friendly, if it were not for friends, if it were not for QAM, my organization, then my son would have died. And I was still strong. If you see, I will show you some of the pictures I took while in the hospital. You couldn't even see a drop of tears.
I took this one while he was sleeping, and then we had gone to visit with my son. Actually, we're in the ward, and then that was me again in the room, and then here I brought him out for some fresh air, and here we all came out to take pictures, and you know.
I hadn't cried yet, but I could feel the energy within me go. So we stayed in hospital all that time, all of March, and then through April, we stayed in hospital. Actually, like I said, office was so supportive, and trust me, I exhausted my leave days at the hospital. So we stayed in the hospital for a month and a half. For a month and a few weeks, I think, for the very first time. So we got discharged towards the end of April. I think we got discharged around 25th of April. So I have this business that I operate. I had actually left somebody to run for me the business. Now, I had this landlord. Oh my God, people don't understand. I was owing him rent of April. April, that month when we were in hospital. Not even overdue rent. I sent this guy a message informing him that his rent for the shop would delay a little. And I sent him pictures of my son on oxygen, actually. Anyone who saw those pictures, guys, anybody who saw the beginning pictures when the burn just happened would have cried and sympathized. But this guy did not. The response he gave me was, he's worried when I would pay his rent. I said, no, I cannot stay with such a person who doesn't understand. We are just within the month. It has not even ended, and I am trying to inform you in advance that it may delay a little. And you're worried of your rent other than the life of someone. So when we got discharged 25th, 26th, traveled. My mother had already come. Yeah, my mom was around. I traveled to where the shop was. The intention was just to go and remove my things, take my things off, get a smaller room with cheaper rent, pack them there until I am ready to, until the girl at the shop would look for another room. Like I didn't care at that point. So I traveled all the way there. I struggled, I got money, and I sent him his money. That house was at a very, very strategic place. But I could not stay. I can't stay with people who don't understand. It was not as if I was owing him. We were still within the month, but I was informing him in advance. So I traveled there. We packed our things. As we are packing our things, someone tells me there is a room just in the next block. You see how God does his things? So that's how we just shifted to the next block. That is 27th, and 27th is a Saturday. 28th, I am traveling back to where my child is. It's a distance of it's like 5 hours away. So I traveled back. We stayed at home. We had been given medication. The surgeon had recommended alternate dressing for his wounds. So we were taking him to the facility every time to get alternate dressing. So that is April. And then on the 8th of May, we are supposed to go back for review, which we actually did. When we reached the hospital, the feedback that came back when the surgeon looked at my son's wound, he said the wound was getting an infection and didn't look clean, and it was actually taking longer than he expected to heal. Oh my God, that was another stress for me. By this time, my mother has already traveled back. She's a teacher. She's a head teacher in a certain school. She has already traveled back to settle in her school. Second term has started. My son got burnt at the end of, towards the end of first term. So it means he didn't study. He didn't finish the first term. And then the second term also. We thought he would go to school, but so surgeon said the wound is not doing well. And we must do skin grafting. Wow. Wow. I didn't expect that feedback. I happily went to the hospital expecting that they would say the wound was doing well, expecting progress in recovery. The pain, what happened when we were in hospital was so difficult for me. Each time they were doing my son's wound dressings, I would be crying, but not physically, I would be crying. My son would scream out his heart. Every day somebody's screaming and you're watching. And what happened during that moment was, if somebody called me immediately after the wound dressing, I would really be rude. It traumatized me. I would be so rude. So the best thing I would do was, after the wound dressing was done, after the wound dressing was done, I would always get out of the room. We were staying in a private room. I would leave my son in the room and just go somewhere and sit. I would leave him in the room like he would be sleeping, like he would always sleep after the dressing. So I would just get out of the room, go and sit somewhere for an hour, put my phone off because I don't want to transfer anger to people. And then just stay there and sit for an hour and come back when I have cooled off. So when the surgeon said they needed to do skin grafting and it would take us 2 more weeks in the hospital, I got so devastated. I asked him, what does skin grafting mean? Of course I didn't know. He told me it means they will take off some parts of skin from his thighs and they would put it on their own to speed up recovery. But to me, as to someone who is not a medical person like me, it would be difficult to understand that. For me, that meant more pain for my son. It meant more pain for my son. It meant another deep wound. That's how I looked at it. And it meant being traumatized again in the hospital. And it also meant that I would lose my job. Remember, this is the only survival I have. This is the only way I have to support my kids. So my head was in a mix. But the most painful of it all was like my son would go through more pain again. I told surgeon no. I just told him no. We are not doing that. Let him just heal naturally. He assured me the wound would take long to heal. I told him it's okay. My son also got traumatized at that moment. We came back home with a decision. I said no. So we came back home. So I shared it with some friends, medical friends, and they told me, you made a wrong decision. Skin grafting doesn't mean they are going to dig deep into your son's flesh. No. It means they're just going to peel off layers of skin and add it to the wound so that recovery speeds up. You made a wrong decision. Go back to the hospital and do skin grafting. The nurse who was dressing him here, Akena Anthony, oh my God. I want to put your name here and really say thank you so much for pushing me to go and do the skin graft. Plus Barbara again. So I had to make a quick decision. Normally for me, guys, I have a problem. I don't like to do things. I don't like being surprised with things. I like to be emotionally prepared for situations. So coming back home helped me to prepare emotionally to take this boy back to the hospital. So I called the surgeon, Dr. Odaga. Jimmy, thank you so much. I called him, I told him, you know what, doctor? I needed time to rethink about skin grafting, but I think we are ready. Normally surgical days are on Wednesdays, so 8th of May when we went to the hospital was a surgical day. So we had to wait for another surgical day to go back. So we went back to hospital on the 15th of May, 1 week later. So it means from April we had stayed home for just 3 weeks. 3 weeks. 2 weeks waiting for review, and then the 1 week I used to make a decision to take him for skin grafting. So we went back to the hospital. First, before I forget, how did this boy get banned? He was actually playing with his friend. He went back to the other home, like I already mentioned at the beginning of the video. He went back to the other home. Children love trying experiments, like they want to experiment. So the other boy apparently had seen magic somewhere. This magic of you zipping paraffin into your mouth, you blow it out as you light a matchbox. So that is exactly what happened. His mother apparently had some paraffin that she uses to set fire. Here we use charcoal for cooking. So this boy saw it, and then he remembers the magic he saw from somewhere. He's like, let us try this. So they enter a room with my son, and then they try the magic. He lit a matchbox, blew the fire, and this fire normally forms a ball. So in that state of excitement, either the wind blew the fire to my son, or he lit it directly on him. But according to my son, he lit a matchbox and threw it at him. So it looks like he lit the matchbox and blew the paraffin at my boy. So he got burnt the whole of his right hand side here. Somewhere here. And then also it took some of his ears. Yeah, so that is what happened. So we went back for the skin grafting. 15th of May, we were back in the hospital. God, staying in hospital is so hard, guys. That was the longest time I stayed in hospital. They did the 16th of May, the surgeon, actually went back 15th, the surgeon reviewed him and said they would do the skin grafting on 16th of May. So 16th of May, I prepare my boy for theater. I try to talk to him to be strong, everything will be okay, it's not going to happen, they will make him sleep off, like he was scared. So he's already dressed up in the theater garment. We are just waiting. They have already put him on fluids, actually. The next news we hear is the surgical knife is out of stock. Oh my goodness, the surgical knife is out of stock. And commodities take time to be restocked, depending on the need. Okay, there might be a need sometimes, but commodities are delivered in circles, like quarterly basis for our hospitals. So I got more devastated. It meant that the skin grafting procedure was not clear, and the wound was looking bad. It had changed color. We stayed in hospital. By this time, it's already second term, beginning of second term for school. My mom had to come because I didn't have leave days anymore. My little boy also needed him. Remember the first phase, we all stayed the other side at the hospital. It means they all missed school for first term. Now second term, it also meant this little boy would miss school if no one had come to support. So my mother has the best also understanding bosses. So she came around, and of course the news came that skin grafting was not possible at that hospital. So the surgeon decided that we would be referred to another hospital. The hospital he was referring us to, we don't know anybody there. Guys, in Uganda, you must know somebody. Everywhere, you must know someone. For you to be helped first, you must know someone. I told surgeon, no, we are not going to that hospital. We are going to wait until the commodities are brought. For now, continue dressing at the hospital. I cannot bring him back home again. Actually, I proposed we first come back home, and then when the items are ready, we go back. I told him no, let him stay in the hospital. I have accepted. So my mom stayed with him in the hospital for it took over 4 weeks before the commodities were brought. So what happened within that time, somebody had actually told me that this health center had those grafting knives. Oh my God, I got so excited. That's why they always say, in everything you do, always give yourself room for disappointment. I didn't give myself the room for disappointment. I went prepared that everything would be okay. So I went to the storeman, that facility. These people know me because of my job at that time. I go so excited that finally I'm going to get these commodities, deliver them to the surgeon, and then the skin grafting will be done. Already I've informed the surgeon that someone told me that I can actually pick this, like I was so excited. Guys, I went to the hospital on a bike. I went there. When I reached there, these guys were like, no, we don't have those health centers. It's only a hospital that always has such commodities. We don't do that procedure here, so the government cannot even deliver it to us. Guys, I got so broken. For the second time, I got so broken. Guys, all this time I haven't yet cried. I haven't cried yet. I have been so strong. Most of my friends even have no idea what's going on with me. My WhatsApp statuses are clean. Like you could not know. You could not know I was going through that difficult moment. So when the storeman told me they didn't have it, I went back on the bike. Guys, the last time I fell on a motorcycle was in 2019. That was the last time I fell on a bike. Like I feel like I've been so good. Like I learned it so well. So I started the bike normally. I moved. How I fell off the bike, till today I cannot explain. I just went off. I fell down in front of very many people. I just lost my energy. I could not believe. I could not believe. It was so unbelievable for me that the procedure would not be done there. At this point, I didn't even inform the surgeon again that the commodity is not available. I just went back home. I called my mom and told her, you know what? They don't have it. Meanwhile, at school, my mother is needed, guys. She has already stayed for a month. And our terms take like 2.5 months. She has already stayed out of school for a month. Even going to the second month, supporting me at the hospital so that I can stay at home with the little one. And every weekend, every Friday, I would go to the hospital and stay there all through the weekend. Sunday evening, I come back home. That's how my life was. I didn't even have time to call people, to communicate to people. I like, through the weekdays, I was busy. And then I would take my son to school, go to work, do my job. I don't know where I got the grace to even perform. Do my job, come back home, do the housework I need to do. Friday evening, I am at the hospital. And now at this point again, the skin grafting is not clear. My mom kept me strong. She really kept me strong. My mother is emotionally weak, guys, but this time, she kept me strong. So, just as I am worried, one day later, actually the next day now, I had to inform the surgeon that the commodity is not available. And then the surgeon tells me, wow, I have good news actually. I have requested and they're already delivering it tomorrow. Oh my God, I was so excited. I was so happy. So the procedure was done. My mom did not even inform me. She signed the consent forms. She informed me after it was already done. The procedure was done. It went on so well. The skin grafting was done. They removed the skin from one thigh, yes. And then they put it on their own. Everything seemed okay. Normally with grafting, it takes about 8 to 10 days for the grafted area to be open so that they see how it's progressing. Guys, after those 10 days, when they opened the grafted area, the skin had not taken in. The skin had not taken in. So they had to do another skin graft. We're already in June, by the way. So we just allowed it. We just told the surgeon it's okay. At this point, my son is very, very strong. We just told the surgeon it's okay. Go ahead and do it, Dr. Jimmy. So they took him for another skin graft after 2 weeks. Another skin graft. Both thighs at this point. They did it, and this time, thank God, it took in and left a small part of the wound around his breast. So all this area took in, and then part of the wound on his chest took in and just left around the nipple, like to this size. So at least we're happy, we kept the smiles, you know, we kept encouraging each other, we kept being strong, and then finally, so for that time we stayed April through June, through July, and then end of July we got discharged. So it means we were in hospital from March, April, May, June, July, for 5 months, guys. Within the 5 months, we only came back home for 3 weeks. So it was really so good when we got discharged. So we came back home, and that was end of July, like exactly end of July. And then happily, the next good news now, okay, the next good news after discharge that happened was my son's birthday came on 2nd of August. We celebrated his birthday.
Travers was so happy. He said, Mommy, at least God brought me back home to be able to celebrate my birthday. His brother was happy. We were all excited.
He was so happy. He said, Mommy, God made it possible for us to celebrate my birthday at home. I was like, oh my God, my child. Yes, he did. He made it possible for us to have this birthday at home. His brother again gifted him. Some of my friends around came and gifted him. He was so happy. Travers is a happy child, guys. He's a nice child. And all through this time while we are in hospital, the hospital director is a doctor and a priest at the same time. My son kept telling them he wants to become a priest and a doctor, because sometimes the priest would actually come to pray for him. So he said, Mommy, I want to be a priest and pray for sick people. And I also want to be a doctor and save other people the way Dr. Jimmy saved me. Till today, he still says he wants to do that. So this video will be here. Let's see if God fulfills that dream for him. But he's a good child. So we had his birthday all through August, and then after 2 weeks, again we went back for review.
It was him during review. I just covered the bandage with that cap.
The surgeon said the wound was doing well. This time we are doing alternate dressing, like at home. Akena, my good friend, was still supportive. On days when he was not there, guys, I even ended up becoming a medical person. I would dress my boy, like I would see this wound every day. Do you know how painful that is? Yeah, so things were really good. And in September, the next saddest news happened. We lost the wife of my uncle, somebody who was like a mother to me. She was so good to me, guys, so good to me. A lot of events surrounded the burial, and I ended up not attending the burial. It disturbed me for some days because she was like a mother to me. But my family attended the burial. I thank God. I pray for her soul to rest in peace. During Thanksgiving prayers, I promised to be there. So that is the next event that happened in 2024. So through September, we also traveled to the capital city to have another surgeon look at the healed area. Actually, the wound healed, but the armpit got stuck a little. Like, he cannot raise his arm up straight. He can only stop at an angle. He needed to do to have a reconstruction surgery. So the surgeon looked at it. A different surgeon looked at it and scheduled it for end of third term, so that at least he could first go to school and also attend to some lessons and so on. And trust me, guys, my boy went back to school and he did so well. He's doing so well at school, and I think he's even going to be the best in his class after not studying for first term and second term. Imagine that. So that's how everything went. And I also joined YouTube. That is part of the good news. I joined YouTube in August 28th. I joined YouTube. Everything has been going on so well. You guys have been so supportive. So the next clip, you might see my son going for the reconstruction, and we hope for the best. Yeah, I really must say God has been so good to us. Like, 2024 was at the verge of losing my son, but God really saved him. And guys, do you know the most interesting thing? He hammered 4 aggregates. 4 of the 4 subjects, he got 92 3 times and then got a 98.
That's a sneak peek of his report card.
So you can imagine out of a total of 400, how much he got. The guy did so well. It made me proud. I was so happy for him, especially for a child who did not study in first term and second term. Oh my God. When I picked his results from school, I was all smiling along the way. I wanted to show everybody my son's performance. So God has been so great, like really, really great. Yeah, so we all already know how God doesn't disappoint. When you put your trust in him, he does it for you. Like he did it for us. And I want to thank each and every one of you for your prayers. God bless you. Like, you guys have been so good to me. Hi, so I was just actually holding my phone while recording this video, and I just wanted to give you guys an update that the year just didn't end like that. Like, we got monetized along the way, and then my son's surgery went on so
well. This was us getting into hospital. I asked him to take a video, and then
My boss.
and that Trevor boy, I don't know why he was walking like that. Trevor is so
You're very
funny.
mad.
Oh my God, this boy.
well. He's okay, everything is fine. Let's hope the new year comes with more new blessings, you know, and I really, really wish you all a very happy and a blessed new year 2025. Looking forward to more vibes and more support from every one of you. Thank you so much. Blessings.